Hello, and welcome back to a bonus episode of the Book Marketing Tips and Author Success Podcast. This is Penny Sansevieri
and Amy Cornell,
and we are thrilled. So we're super excited about this program. We always change the offerings that we offer to our authors, and we never do a bonus show about them. But this one in particular was really born out of your feedback, the emails that we got from listeners. And so that's why we're doing a show about it, because we are super, super excited about it. And we're both going to expand on it a little bit. We're not going to take up too much of your time, but it's a mentorship program. And the mentorship is basically you get both Amy and myself. Yay. And because sometimes I've gotten on the phone with authors and sometimes they'll say, well, I thought I was talking to Amy.
Oh gosh.
Like, okay, well, I guess I'm just chopped liver now. But you'll get both Amy and myself, and we will step you through the success points, the various components of creating a successful book or getting your book back on track. And the way that the mentorship is designed to, we can either start 6 months out. So if you're early and you're like, you know what, I think I want to just get some help getting some direction and guidance and things like that, 2 months out, or, your book is already launched. And Amy, talk through kind of the genesis of how we unpacked this and came up with these 3 different stages.
I know, it was really very cool. It was very cathartic too, because this is something, actually everything that we offer, and I'll go through some of the highlights just so y'all know what you'd be getting into potentially. But we've talked about ways that we could potentially offer this kind of guidance before, Penny. It's come up off and on over the years, like we knew there was a hole in the market for this kind of guidance, but figuring out exactly how to tool it and structure it. And you know what I mean? There's a lot that goes into putting something like this out there, because we both don't like to offer something that we know is not 100% slam dunk, useful to y'all, answers the questions you're already asking, things like that. So we finally decided okay, let's pull this together and figure out how we can do this, because it's needed. And like a lot of our podcast episodes, most of the ideas come from not just, what we feel y'all need to pay attention to, but what we get questions from, the questions we get from clients, the questions we get from authors that are potentially asking to work with us, things like that. So we really had a great list of okay, here's where the holes in most people's knowledge are,
Yeah. Good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. How can we fill those holes? And then also there's so much in publishing, and we talk about this a lot too. We've done timing episodes and things like that. There are so many decisions that need to be made, and there really is a better order to do them in than others, because there are some decisions you make that you can't go back on,
Right.
and then you're stuck with it for the life of that book. And then, and so we really wanted to offer something that for authors that were really serious about, I want to do this the right way the first time. We wanted to provide a program that would walk you through all of those steps. So you could, I love to think about it as insurance. It's almost like an insurance policy. We will make sure we touch on all of the critical points, depending on where you're at with your book. Like Penny said, we've got one for books that are still in production, that are 6 months out. We've got a phase for books that are, 6 to 8 weeks out. So especially if you're going to do a pre-order or when you're getting prepped to really release your book. And then we also have a phase for books that are already out there. And we really designed each one tailored to how to maximize your opportunities for each of those phases and make sure you're making all the right decisions.
Right, exactly. And I think that, it's interesting when you talk about things that you can't recover from. I mean, one of the biggest is the title. You talked about the title. We talk about the title a lot in our shows. In fact, we have a show coming up that Amy brainstormed about, the importance of, book titles and picking the right title for your book, et cetera. But there are certain things that and part of the reason why we wanted to include it in this program that you just cannot recover from, right? a bad title on a book, it will impact the book for for the duration of the life of the book, as long until you decide to, rebrand it or whatever. So
Mhm.
that's where we came up with these various strategies to really give you some guidance, because, look, um, nobody wants to publish a book and fail. Like, nobody sets out like, I'm just going to publish this really bad book. You know what I mean?
And hope nobody notices.
Right, exactly. Everybody wants every author, I mean, every author that I've ever talked to never intentionally doesn't want to put their best foot forward. But
Right.
sometimes you just don't know what that quote unquote best foot is, because let's face it, there's a lot of conflicting information out there. So that's what this program is also designed to do, to help you succeed, to help you put your best foot forward. And we are launching it exclusively to our
Woohoo.
podcast listeners. I know, I'm very excited about that. And yeah, and we're going to put the link in the show notes so you'll be able to go there and take a look at the programs. And also, we'd love your feedback. So these particular mentorship programs may evolve over time as people say, oh, I would love to, would you consider adding this or changing up this? So, if you're listening to this show 6 months down the road and you look at, they maybe look completely different based on, these were built based on your feedback, and they will continue to be perfected as we get feedback from authors to say, we'd like to see more of this or whatever. But anyway, take a look at that. We're super excited. We do want to keep you very long. Thank you all so much for your dedicated listeners. And we really hope that you enjoy, and I'm not exactly sure when this particular episode is going to land, but we very much hope that you will enjoy the upcoming video episode that we are doing. We're both going to be on camera. We're just saying a lot because that's all. You would not believe what we had to plan to be on video together to record a podcast. So we're going to be doing that soon. That is going to land. So if this episode ends up landing later, go back and take a look at the Thanksgiving, Friday, so Black Friday episode that
Right.
that where that video is going to land, and there will be a link to the YouTube video in the show notes as well. So thank you all so much for listening and for being supportive and for offering your ideas, because we evolve the show and clearly we evolve our programs based on all your feedback. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.